Finance and technology are both tools, as we know, and they present both opportunities and risks. However, as we evaluate these, we need to make sure that the costs are not disproportionately borne by the most vulnerable in the system, and that the upsides are not enjoyed by a select segment of consumers. We need much more research and systematic collection of metrics beyond access and efficiency gains to make the argument of impact strongly.
I do think we collectively, the industry, and I do think this Financial Inclusion Week really brings together the industry, I think we have made remarkable progress from going from 3 billion people to roughly 2 billion people excluded. That is enormous progress.
Our partnership at MasterCard with Axion is a real point of pride for us and has been, for us, an enabler of driving inclusive growth.
This conversation of DPI really needs to take that whole ecosystem approach. Otherwise, we risk, having governments budget for, technical solutions, but have not mapped how they actually will be rolled out, which just sends us back to square one. So, unfortunately, for a lot of folks, this tends to become like, we're still in the basics conversation. But I think DPI offers us an opportunity to look at policy and how technology policy is made in real consideration of social, cultural, and political realities.
Remember, this is hard work, patient work, but very rewarding. It has that multiplier we just talked about. And so the multiplier is your North Star. And I think using digitization, using technology, using AI, but working in partnership with governments and banks and others who are willing to bring their shoulder to the wheel is the most important thing. The way we lose in the financial inclusion fight is if we try to do it individually. That's a hard battle to win.
Or inventory financing options for retailers, just empowering these businesses to manage their finances more effectively. The most important aspect that I wanted to talk about, and again, this is something that Marco's already touched on, is segmenting on the basis of digital readiness or digital capability. And our research has indicated that actually this is absolutely crucial, because we risk, if we don't actually do that, we risk leaving behind the more vulnerable businesses, the women, the smaller businesses, the ones that aren't as digitally ready. And so effectively we have the same problem all over again with digital finance that we did with traditional finance.
But then you also have to be brave enough to abandon solutions, sometimes abandon companies, in favor of the problem, right? You should do that responsibly with a graduation plan that allows for that. But whether it's in partnership with a global corporation or a small enterprise on the ground, we have to have the courage to be able to say that, to say this is what optimizes for that end user. So let's move towards that.
So we want to support local people to design and implement the solutions that benefit really their communities and their landscapes. And something that I think is always important to always remember that indigenous peoples and local communities really, and we have been saying, are the most really exposed and vulnerable to climate change. But really, yet they have been doing so much to be resilient, but their knowledge and their leadership sometimes are not included in the design and implementation of these, what we call climate justice solutions. So what do? We really work with them through a participatory and inclusive process, seeking input from marginalized voices, women, youth, elders, and mapping really and identifying what are their assets, their strengths, and how we could co-facilitate and create spaces for reflection, learning, and analysis that in a way communities develop and design priorities on their terms.
The world of migrant small enterprises in countries like Colombia, but globally in general, are completely different, like different worlds who have different challenges and behaviors. And we definitely believe that we need to understand these profiles in order to allow financial service providers to design tailored or specific tailored solutions that address the unique differences and needs of each specific groups. And we believe that by identifying and separating the needs, or identifying the different needs, we are able to drive the digital economy in small and medium enterprises in Colombia.
How we consider or treat the nano and the micro businesses. And I'm going to explain a little bit further. When there's the KYC done to them, they are requested for a lot of documents. They are treated as not just as formal, but as a medium or large company. So it's very difficult for them to get access to credit, because most of them, at least 2/3 in Latin America, are informal. So they do not have like a credit history. They do not have specific papers that are requested. So they are left out since the very beginning. I mean, we haven't been able to adapt to the reality and to start looking for alternative data, and knowing that we are not going to find them in a credit bureau maybe, but maybe we can find them as person plus then other variables.